Hey guys, in this video, I'm gonna be talking about why no one likes the American government over here. They make us pay taxes. The other countries, they erase our forefathers off of our currency, and they wash away our forefathers off of the American dollar, and that and also our American coins. They remove our forefathers off of our currency to put their politicians onto the very cash and the very coins, and repackage our money as theirs. And that in of itself is why the value of the American currency has been degrading over the course of time. The politicians, the police officers, the federal officers, and the IRS agents, and the military, and the very Secret Service, and the very current American politicians and American White House officials have degraded the what we have now in terms of government officials that we have now are degrading the value of the American dollar, because we spent too many decades with the same tax crap and the very same IRS system. We have them devaluing and defacing and degrading the value of the American dollar by making everybody here pay taxes to send our money over there to foreign countries. It's not about helping. Believe me, I would love to help out foreign countries, but not at the expense of the value and the appreciation for the American dollar. That's not how this works. No one here wants to pay taxes, because those who don't pay taxes and don't pay a cent of tax revenue, they know that the American dollar is losing value over the coming generations. And by the time I have by the time I have kids, and by the time I have grandkids, and by the time I have great-grandkids, the American dollar will lose all massive, powerful value. And that's something that needs to be stopped. We need to abolish the IRS so that way the lifeblood of the value of the American dollar can heal. And we got women wanting to hook up with wealthy millionaires, wealthy billionaires, those old rich dudes who early on knew that the American dollar would lose value. And these gold-digging women are looking for sugar daddies. And it's so bad that everything here in America is all ass backwards. Women are supposed to be with men for love, not for money. But when money got involved and the value of what little bit of money a man of my status could ever make could not pull any woman. I mean, look at me. No girlfriend, no wife, not even a fucking job, no car, renting off of somebody, renting a place to live, and even that, and even those landlords who are not taking taking responsibility for the upkeep of half of the places in this country, not taking responsibility for the upkeep for the rental of the places that they're renting out for people to live in. And people cannot own their own homes in this day and age because it's too expensive to own a house, let alone paying the mortgage, which that needs to get abolished because the mortgage means much larger taxing and taxation, which the money's already being degrading in value over time anyways. So what's the point of paying mortgage and paying taxes and paying rent if the American dollar is and the American currency is going to be degrading in value over time? Shit. Even jobs know. Even every single job out there know that the harder you work, you might get something out of it. But the American dollar has been degrading in value over time. And that's why so many people in this country these days don't get paid more money that they are owed for working a 9 to 5. If we just abolish the IRS and cutting off outsourcing of finances to other countries, the American economy would boom. We can't just have the IRS sending police officers to arrest people for not paying taxes, or the FBI agents being sent to arrest those for not paying taxes. People's got to use their brains, man. People's got to be using their brains. Even I know that the American dollar, and I've been witnessing this and I've been experiencing this, the American dollar could only get you so far these days. Someday, $20 would be equals to $1 someday, if that keeps up. And, well, fuck. Why don't I might add, have $100 someday in the future in America be as valuable as a penny, holding the value level of a penny. Not 1/4, not 2/3 of 1/4 of 1/3 of 2/3 of a grand. Losing that big fat ass amount of value to the $100 bill. We are seeing the American currency losing value and having the value being degraded over time of our money. You could buy like 50 pack, like 50 cartons of 50 cartons of cigarettes on $20 or $60 fucking dollars back in the 1920s, in the 1940s, in the 1930s, in the 1950s. Money back in those days got you a whole lot. Like I literally mean a whole lot you could get with 20 or 50 bucks back in those days. And if you could get anything for $100, it'd be like some household appliances, like a pantry, a deep freezer, a freezer, a fridge, cabinets full of food, new, unused dishes. You could get all that for a house. And you'd have almost $1,000 to raise just one kid on alone back in those days. And the value of $1 was booming over here back in those days. But only when the 60s and 70s rolled around is when it was the beginning of the end of the American dollar having value. And someday the high status of the value of the American dollar is going to one day be like, how do I say this? It'd be officially terminated someday. Like, you can't get anything on the American dollar over here unless if you were Jenna Ortega or Tony Hawk rich. Like $1,000 or $5,000 might not get you anything. Like, you'd have to spend years buying snippets of what you need off of $5,000 alone. And yet $10,000, forget it. $10,000, that's bringing your kids up and raising your kids on 10 grand money these days. And that would be barely enough to get you a house, barely enough to get you a car. But that's just how it is. And the cops, they're a part of that problem. They're a part of that problem. And it's like we can't live in a wealthy, prestigious country anymore like we used to. Like during the roaring 20s, the American dollar had so much value. Shit. Back in the 1800s, $225,000 to $250,000 in last century's American money. That was enough to get you your own business and a house and to raise your kids on. That was enough to start your own corporate family-owned dynasty. Your own corporate family-owned dynasty started back in those days. If you were a bounty hunter and you cashed in, you'd get either like $25,000 to $250,000. And that'd be enough to buy a house, start a business, raise a family back in those days. But it was the wild, wild west days back in those days. During the colonial era and during the Confederate War era and during the wild, wild west 10-gallon hat wearing, 6-shooter, southern, redneck accent speaking era. During the 1800s, you could start a business, have a home, raise a kid, raise 10 kids, put them through school with whatever money was left, and that was it. You were set for life. You had like a brewery you were wanting to do, or a book publishing company you wanted to do. Hades, you might as well want to start your own saloon, your own bar, your own brothel. Oh yeah! Back in those days, back in the 1800s, brothels were legal back in those days. Nowadays, not so much. Brothels, cat houses, whatever you want to call it. If there was a woman that was selling sex for money, like a designated place where they sold sex for money, that was legal back then. Nowadays, you get your shit raided by the government for one of the oldest corporate practices in this country. The oldest of professions in this country. Like, harlots and hookers or cat house employees. Yeah. We got whatever you want to call them. Like, we had those types of individuals bringing in the money and like making sure that the American civilization did not go financially under. Were they in danger? Yeah. Were they killed? Yeah. Was it the most dangerous job? One of the most dangerous jobs in America at the time? Yeah. But they took it. It was one of the only qualified jobs out there besides gold mining and coal mining. In the 1800s, America was like, oh, like we used to have like the dangerous jobs that you could ever think of back in America's history, like legally running a saloon, legally running a brothel. But the only crimes that were illegal at the time, and it wasn't liquor that wasn't outlawed until the early 1900s. Believe me, that wasn't illegal until World War One. Cause saloons and brothels, they hosted that kind of stuff. And the worst crimes to ever commit was either murder in front of a town square in a small tiny rustic western cowgirl type of villageized town, but also train robbing, bank robbing, grave robbing were crimes. And killing off the president, and this is true, it's a known fact. The John Wilkes Booth versus Abraham Lincoln assassination back in the 1800s. Yeah, that was a crime. Train robbery was a crime until people stopped like traveling from state to state, town to town by a train anymore. And the bank robbing thing, that's still a crime, still to this day. And nowadays, brothels are illegal. But back in those days, running a brothel was absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, legal. Even the politicians and law enforcement had no issue with brothels back in those days. They participated in that. And this is a historical fact. And some of those law enforcement officers, some of them were corrupt, some of them weren't. And train robbing, that was an outdated, 2 centuries old, outdated crime. No one robs trains anymore, because trains are no longer, are just like American trains, no longer carry people from state to state anymore. None of them at all. None of them at all. And ends up riding trains. And the only ones who ride trains were bums, hobos, or some runaway troubled teenagers in their late teens, thinking that they're rebelling against their parents who probably already gave up on them in their rebellious behavior. Like they think, oh, I'm so edgy, I'm so cool. No, you're not, you loser. It's just that your parents gave up on being strict on your stupid ass. 17, 18, 19, acting like rebellious 11, 12, 13-year-old. Like, come on. And also homeless people, like bums and hobos, that were riding trains to get from town to town, state to state, county to county. And those trains move fast. They were speeding trains, going from state to state. And these days, trains are just for cargo. These days, not for transportation of people these days. And train robbing, that's not a crime anymore because nobody rides trains anymore. Like, you don't have an entire community or a entire town or half of an entire town riding a train to get from one city in one state to another city in another state anymore. It's all cargo and shipment trains these days. And bank robbing is still a crime, although people do it anyways. And people don't look at train robbery as a crime anymore because that kind of means of crime is obsolete. It's been obsolete for 200 years. But that's not the point. The point is that the American dollar has been degrading in value over time. We also used to use coins, like golden coins. Golden and copper and like gold, copper, bronze coins. And when this new thing called dollar bills started popping up in America, a lot of people had gone from the gold rush to the green rush. From the gold rush to the green mile. And yeah, barely any country in this day and age uses gold coins as a form of currency in this day and age. That's old, ancient, almost biblical day currency. No one uses gold coins in this day and age because silver, bronze, and green are the only colors of currency in this country. Shit, you'd barely find a country in this day and age that still uses gold coins for currency. Like, yeah. And that's the problem with policing. Trying to arrest people for saving the value of the almighty American dollar from degrading in value and depreciating over time. That's not a crime to want to save the value. Saving the value of the American currency from degrading over time. But anyways, that's what I needed to talk about.